Am I the a-hole for threatening to divorce my wife over my son? Hi, everyone. I'm a 39-year-old guy, and I've been facing a pretty serious dilemma with my wife, Katie, who's 32. The issue? My son, Bran, who's 15. For context, Bran is my son from my first marriage with Anne, my college sweetheart. We met in school, dated for a couple of years, and had Bran during our junior year. We got married soon after graduation, and for 6 years we did our best to make it work. The thing is, Anne and I were great parents, but not great partners. We cared about each other, but we weren't happy together. We tried to fix it, dates, therapy, time away, but in the end, it was clear we'd both be happier apart. Our divorce was peaceful, no drama, no bad blood. We agreed to split custody 50-50, and I made sure that Anne and Bran were taken care of. I co-own a business with an old college buddy, so money wasn't a huge issue. Anne kept the house and one of the cars. Instead of sending her a monthly check, I paid directly for Bran's schooling, healthcare, and any big expenses. We've always stayed on good terms, even after she remarried. Now, on to where everything went wrong. I met Katie a few years later at a friend's wedding. We clicked almost immediately. She was funny, smart, ambitious, and easy to talk to. We started dating, and from the very beginning, I was transparent about my situation. I told her about my son, about Anne, and how close I lived to them, just 2 blocks away. I told her Bran came over a lot, sometimes unannounced, and that he would always come first. At the time, Katie said she understood. I believed her, especially after she met Bran for the first time. They bonded over Star Wars, spent hours talking about the movies, and I thought, wow, this could really work. Fast forward a few years, Katie and I got married. Bran was actually my best man at the weddings, which was a really special moment. For the most part, everything felt great. My wife got along with my son. My ex and I co-parented smoothly. Life felt stable. That was until the topic of kids came up. We'd talked about it before getting married, and I told her I wasn't sure I wanted to have more kids. She said she was okay with that, but about 2 months ago, she brought it up again, asked if I'd reconsider having a child with her. I didn't want to shoot her down immediately, so I told her I'd think about it. She seemed a little frustrated, but agreed to give me some time. 2 months later, last Sunday, she brought it up again, and this time demanding a straight yes or no answer. I told her no. I said I didn't see the point in having another baby right now, but that we could revisit the topic in a year or two. I thought I was being reasonable, but apparently I was wrong. Katie exploded. She started shouting about how she'd been patient and understanding for years, how she'd put up with my past and accepted my flaws as a partner. That comment threw me. Past? What past? When I asked what she meant, her answer floored me. She said she saw my ex-wife and my son as part of my flaws, that they were holding us back from being truly happy. She said she'd been waiting for me to finally move on, to put her first instead of them. I was speechless. I honestly thought I'd misheard her. But no, she doubled down. According to her, I should have stopped paying directly for Bran's education and expenses and just sent my ex a monthly check. She said I let my son visit too often and that I shouldn't go to events where my ex was also present, like birthdays, soccer games, or family gatherings. And apparently, me texting my ex about our child was a massive red flag. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. How is being a present dad a bad thing? How is communicating about our kid some kind of betrayal? And about the events, what was I supposed to do? Skip my son's soccer games just because my ex was there? Miss holidays and milestones because my wife couldn't handle seeing me be a dad? Turns out, yes, that's exactly what she wanted. She said she wanted me to be more of a weekend dad, and that as her husband, she should come first. That's when we had our first real explosive fight. Everything she'd been holding in came pouring out. All these opinions she'd apparently had for years, just bottled up until now. I told her that if this was really how she felt, if she expected me to choose her over my son, then maybe she married the wrong man. And yeah, I said it. I threatened divorce because I couldn't believe I'd been living with someone who secretly resented my child. After that fight, she stormed out. She's been staying with her parents ever since and hasn't answered any of my calls or texts. I keep replaying that argument in my head, wondering how long she's felt this way, how long she's been pretending to be okay with something she clearly wasn't. The thing is, I do love my wife, but my son will always come first. He's my kid. That's not up for negotiation. And as for my ex, We're friendly, sure, but respectful. We text about Bran. That's it. If we see each other at the store, at a soccer game, or at a holiday event, we're civil. We're never alone, never crossing boundaries. I thought Katie understood that. I thought she accepted the whole picture. That being with me meant being part of a family that already existed before she came along, but clearly she didn't. Now I'm sitting here wondering, did I make a mistake? Am I the asshole for threatening to end my marriage over this? Because I don't see another way. If she really thinks my love for my son is a flaw, then I don't think we have a future. Hi, everyone. First off, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate all the support and advice I got on my last post. I would have updated sooner, but honestly, things have been kind of messy lately. Anyway, here's the update. 3 days ago, I went to my wife's parents' house. I've been trying to reach Katie for days with no response, so I decided to go there in person and try to talk things out face to face. Her parents were polite but tense. They sat nearby in the kitchen, just in case things got heated between me and my wife. Katie and I sat in the living room, and for a minute it was quiet, just the kind of silence that feels heavy, like both of us were waiting for the other to speak first. Finally, I asked her, point blank, if she really meant what she said about my son, Bran. She just shrugged. That answer alone. It stung. So I asked her again, do you hate him? She said, no, of course not, but followed it up with something that hit just as hard. She said she just thinks it's unnecessary how much time I spend with him. Unnecessary. That word really stuck in my head. Here's where I might have been the asshole, depending on how you see it. I asked her, if the roles were reversed, how would she feel if I had a son with her, but then ignored that kid in favor of a new wife? That's when she blew up. She started shouting, calling me every name in the book, saying I was cruel for shoving the fact that she doesn't have a kid yet in her face. Her parents rushed in when they heard her yelling. They managed to calm her down a bit, and for a second I thought maybe that would be a good place to stop. But I didn't. I should have walked away, but instead I kept asking questions. Once she was calm enough, I asked her another question, probably the one that broke whatever was left between us. I said, if we'd had a baby together earlier in our marriage, would you have treated Bran the same way? Would you have cared for him like your own? She didn't even hesitate. She said she would have prioritized our baby. That was it. That was the moment I realized how far apart we really were. So I asked, then why are you angry that I prioritize my son when you just admitted you'd do the same thing if the roles were reversed? She didn't answer. She just looked away. At that point, I was trying not to let my frustration take over. I told her I didn't want things to end this way. I suggested we go to couples therapy, maybe get someone to help us work through this before making any final decisions. She refused. She said I was blowing things out of proportion, twisting her words, and trying to make her look like the bad guy. That wasn't my intention at all. I told her I was sorry if it came across that way, that I just wanted to understand what she really felt, but she didn't want to hear it. She asked me to leave. Before I did, I tried to kiss her goodbye, but she backed away. That hurt more than I expected it to. Before walking out, I asked her if she'd be home for Thanksgiving. She didn't even look at me, just said, no. I stood there for a second, waiting for something, anything, a glance, a word, a sign that there was still something left between us, but there wasn't. So before I left, I told her the truth, that after the holidays, I'd be speaking to a divorce lawyer. She still wouldn't look at me, and that was it. That was the last conversation we had. Driving home that night, it finally sank in. I think it's over. I love Katie, I really do. But after everything that's come to light, after hearing how she really feels about my son, the person who means the most to me in this world, I don't think there's anything left of our marriage to save. Part of me wonders if I could have handled things differently, if I should have stayed quieter or been more patient. But another part of me knows that this was inevitable, because no matter what happens, I will never put anyone above my child. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm going to meet with a lawyer after Thanksgiving. I don't know what the future holds yet, but I know one thing for sure. I'm done being made to feel guilty for being a good dad. So, am I right for threatening divorce? Or am I the asshole? I don't really know what comes next, but I'll try to keep you all updated when I can. Right now, I just need some time to think, to heal, and to figure out what life looks like moving forward. Thank you to everyone who's reached out, offered advice, or just listened. It's helped more than you probably realize. I'll be okay. Eventually. I just need a little time.